I didn't mention at the beginning, but the title of the talk today is Rewords, a new approach to measuring sustainability. And we're so lucky to have with us here today the professor, you almost introduced him better than I can, but Professor Mauricio Zollo, co-author of the Rewords model, and a professor of strategy and corporate social responsibility at Bocconi University. He's the director of the Center for Research in Organization and Management at Bocconi and has lots of other things on his resume that I won't go through, but I'm sure he'll give us a very interesting presentation of how Rewords actually works.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, both Vice President Pittella and the moderator for such a flattering introduction. My role here is simply to put on the table some of the facts and some of the ideas that constitutes this Italian attempt to contribute to the fundamental debate. The content that then will be the basis for the observations and the discussion that the panel will provide. Let me give you in a nutshell what I believe the problem, the challenge that we're facing is. By the way, the slides will be provided to all of you in electronic format. We're trying to be sustainable even in that sense. Rethinking sustainability. The idea fundamentally goes back to the now fully established definition that the European Commission has provided to all of us exactly 10 years ago, actually. So it's another important celebration for once. That definition that talks about the integration of environmental and social concerns in two dimensions of the firm. One is certainly the relationship with external stakeholders, but the other one has to do with the operation, internal operations. Now, a reflection on 10 years after, on the degree to which both sides of the equation have been actually put in place, very simply provides a positive view. So the good news is that the external side of the equation is actually being taken up quite systematically by an increasing number of firms. And the degree of sophistication with which firms have undertaken the engagement of stakeholders, communication, qualitative communication with the external counterparts has significantly improved, no doubt about it, over a decade. The problem is that, first of all, that level of sophistication has been shown by, particularly by the results of Project Response, major research project funded by the European Union, the 6th Framework Program. So I would take that opportunity to obviously express our collective gratitude to this institution and the Commission for supporting that program. But the results is actually quite surprising. The core results, there are a number of results of that project, basically say that in and of itself, the degree of sophistication in stakeholder engagement does not does not help us distinguish between a high and a lower level of stakeholder satisfaction. So stakeholders are not, on average, in a way, gullible. They don't. It's not enough to excel in external communication and engagement practices. The real distinguishing factor between the the best performance from a social and environmental standpoint and the lower performance actually have to do with internal change. So sustainability actually can be rethought, reconsidered, reframed, essentially as an internal change challenge. Right? The key problem is how to really embed these concerns within not only the operations, by the way. The definition not only talks about operations, but actually in the strategies of firms and in the culture of the firm, right? In the way that managers actually think, act, believe, and act. Now, what is in front of this challenge, the core idea of this proposal, is essentially twofold. On one hand, we need to rethink the way in which we assess sustainability, giving primacy to the assessment of internal processes rather than the external ones, which is the way that currently these type of assessments are made. And the second is to launch a research initiative, a multi-stakeholder research initiative that really tries to understand this challenge of internal change in all of its dimensions, in all of its complexity. And that's what I'm going to provide you with, obviously, a snapshot of description, given the availability of time today. On the first component, the assessment clearly is the core of the Rewords model, the Rewords proposal. Rewords is an alliance, what I call an ABC alliance, in a way, right? It's the academic, business, and consulting alliance that really tries to provide a comprehensive picture to this problem. It is based, on one hand, on the results of this major research effort, Project Response. It is also an integration of the methodology and the experience of Great Place to Work, one of the, in fact, the leading organization specialized in the assessment of organizational climate, and a network of organizations that spans really the globe in about 45 countries. And then Overa, a consultancy specialized in sustainable lobbying and sustainable assessment of the external relationship with that the companies have. Overa has provided its own distinctive contribution that I will describe in a moment. The model is, well, Rewords essentially in its final output is an index, is another way to think about a sustainability index. What is distinctive about Rewords is that the emphasis is placed not so much on the external output of sustainability processes, but on what managers actually think and do inside the firm. Now, on one hand, of course, there is a question about how managers, how employees, in fact, is more generalized than only managers. Members of the firm, of the organization, actually live their working life. And that obviously is the component that Great Place to Work has developed a leading expertise in. On the other hand, it's the assessment of how managers think about the problem, to think about what the role of their company is in the social context, how they act on it, how they, for example, prioritize the role of stakeholders in which they have to deal with. All aspects that have been assessed in a number of ways through both a standardized questionnaire, a complex questionnaire that integrates both the Great Place to Work and the response experience, as well as a number of interviews done throughout the organization in different functional areas, and in the external components of the firm, so the stakeholder, the principal stakeholders, or representatives, of course, of different types of stakeholders. Finally, we actually go to even more in detail to assess the psychological profile of some of the leading managers. So we actually discovered, and again on the basis of the experience of response, that it's not enough to assess practices, organizational level practices. In order to tackle this problem, we really need to go to the level of the individuals who have to actually make sense of the role of their company and take actions and make decisions, integrating the concerns about the social and environmental impacts of their decisions.